$99. No mandatory subscription, no yearly membership fee. No paying $200 just to use the thing you already bought. Google just dropped a fitness tracker that on paper sounds almost too good to be true. And MKBHD, who wore this thing alongside a Whoop and an Apple Watch for an entire week, called it the Whoop killer. But here's what nobody is really talking about. The original Fitbit is dead. It has been since May 19th, 2026. You can no longer even log in with a Fitbit account anymore. Everything now runs through your Google account. And if you know anything about Google, you already know exactly where I'm going with this. So MKBHD dropped a full week-long test of the Fitbit Air against the Whoop 5.0 and the Apple Watch Series 11. His video is titled The Whoop Killer, which immediately tells you where he thinks this thing lands. Today I want to react to his take, give you my honest breakdown, and talk about the one thing most reviewers are glossing over: the Google data angle, because that matters more than the price tag. Alright, so let's start with the hardware, because this is where things get interesting. The Fitbit Air is a tiny sensor, roughly the size of 2 dimes side by side. It clicks into a wristband, and that's basically it. No screen, no notifications, no distractions. Just a little pebble sitting on your wrist tracking everything quietly. Now, MKBHD pointed out that Whoop has a ton of accessories. Different bands, chargers, different configurations. The Fitbit Air, it's just bands. That's it. And honestly, I don't hate that. Not everything needs to be an accessory ecosystem. Sometimes simple is the point. But when it comes to comfort and feel, I have to give the edge to the Whoop. The Whoop looks more premium. The material feels more refined. It just has that sleek, serious athlete energy that the Fitbit Air doesn't quite match yet. That said, this is Google's first screenless tracker. First versions of anything rarely nail everything. The design can and will improve. And for $99 versus what Whoop charges, the gap in feel is entirely understandable. One thing I'll say about the Fitbit Air charging though, you have to take it off. About an hour to 90 minutes to top up. Whoop's charging is honestly one of the coolest things in wearables right now. You just slide the charger onto the band while you're still wearing it. No interruption, no gap in your health tracking data. But here's my honest take on that. Taking your tracker off for an hour once or twice a week is not a big deal. Your wrist needs to breathe. Your skin needs a rest. And the Fitbit Air gets 7 days of battery life anyway. You're not charging this thing every day. So while Whoop wins on charging innovation, I don't think it's the deal breaker some reviewers are making it out to be. Now let's talk about the real story here. The money. The Fitbit Air costs $99. $99, you own the hardware, full stop. You get a 3-month free trial of Google Health Premium included. After that, if you want the AI coach and full insights, it's $9.99 a month, or about $100 a year. And here's the key part. That subscription is optional. You can use the Fitbit Air with 0 subscription and still get your core tracking data. Now let's look at Whoop. The Whoop 5.0 requires a subscription to function at all. You cannot use a Whoop without paying the annual fee. The base Whoop 1 plan starts at $199 a year. The Whoop Peak, which gives you the nicer band and a wireless charger, is $239 a year. And the top-tier Whoop Life plan, KPIR, which includes blood pressure insights and an FDA-cleared ECG, is $359 a year. $359 per year, every year. Now to be fair, Whoop's subscription includes hardware upgrades. When a new Whoop comes out, subscribers get it. That's a real benefit worth acknowledging. But here's the math that matters. After just 2 years of a base Whoop subscription, you've spent $398. That's 4 times the cost of a Fitbit Air. And that's assuming you stay on the cheapest plan. For someone just getting into fitness tracking, someone who wants to understand their sleep, their recovery, their heart rate, this is not even a close decision. The Fitbit Air is the obvious entry point. It removes the financial barrier that has kept Whoop as a tool for elite athletes and serious fitness enthusiasts only. Whoop has 2.5 million subscribers. Fitbit had over 30 million users before the Google acquisition. That gap exists entirely because of price. And the Fitbit Air is about to close it. Now here's the part I really want to talk about, because this is the conversation most reviewers are having very quietly, if at all. Google acquired Fitbit back in 2021, and since May 19, 2026, just days ago, you can no longer access Fitbit with a Fitbit account. Everything has been migrated to Google accounts. Your health data, your sleep data, your heart rate history, your body temperature trends, your workout patterns. All of it now sits inside your Google account. Now Google made binding commitments when the acquisition was approved. They promised that Fitbit health data would not be used for ad targeting. Europe specifically forced that commitment as a condition of approval. But here's the thing about Google. Their entire business model is built on knowing everything about you, and MKBHD himself flagged this in his review, saying the Fitbit Air feels more like a Google tracker than a Fitbit product. And that's a fair observation. Fitbit's independent privacy policy scored 25 out of 100 in a 2026 analysis. Grade D. The primary concern cited was, and I quote, Google acquisition expanded health data collection. Now, does that mean Google is selling your heart rate to advertisers? Not directly, not yet, not that we can prove, but handing the most intimate data about your body, your sleep quality, your stress levels, your blood oxygen, to the world's largest advertising company should at minimum give you pause before you strap it to your wrist. If you're already deep in the Google ecosystem, Gmail, Google Maps, Chrome, Android, your data is already there, and the Fitbit Air probably changes nothing for you. But if privacy is something you think about, this is worth knowing before you buy. The $99 price tag is real, but so is what you're potentially trading for it. So where does all of this land? The Fitbit Air is genuinely impressive for what it is. It's the best entry point into serious health tracking that has ever existed. $99, no mandatory subscription, solid battery life, and backed by Google's AI health coaching. For someone just getting started on their fitness journey, someone who wants to dip their toe in without committing to a $200 yearly fee. This is the device. But is it a Whoop killer? For most people, yes, it probably is. The majority of people who buy a Whoop don't need everything Whoop offers. They want sleep tracking, recovery scores, and heart rate data. The Fitbit Air does all of that, at a fraction of the cost. But for the serious athlete, the person who trains every single day, who needs blood pressure insights, granular strain data, and FDA-cleared ECG readings, Whoop is still the more complete tool. The Fitbit Air is not for that person, and it's not trying to be. It's for the 80% of people who want to be healthier, track their progress, and not spend $300 a year doing it. Google killed the original Fitbit, then rebuilt it as something arguably better. Just be aware of what Google always wants in return, which is to know as much about you as possible. Whether that trade is worth it, only you can decide. So, Fitbit Air or Whoop? If you're just getting started, Fitbit Air. Easy. If you're a serious athlete who needs elite level data, Whoop. If you care deeply about your health data privacy, think carefully before you hand it all to Google. That's my real bite on it. Now I want to hear from you. Are you team Fitbit Air or team Whoop? And does the Google data angle change your opinion at all? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. The real bite. See you in the next one.